Hi, everyone, and welcome to another interesting car here on the Car Reviews podcast with CollectorCarCanada.ca. You can see we have a unique piece today. It is a replica of a 1927 Bugatti Type 35. Plug that one into Dr. Google and you can see the original number is worth quite a tidy sum. We do not claim this to be an authentic 1927 Bugatti Type 35. It is in fact a replica car, and it's built on the frame of a 1967 Beetle, so a Volkswagen Beetle. In our detailed listing for lot 258, you'll see videos of the car both in motion, so with the engine under load, as well as a startup, idle, and exhaust video. So you're going to hear that familiar sound of the VW Beetle powertrain, the original Beetle, of course, not the new Beetle that was front engine and front drive in the 2000s. I'm talking about the one that was available in Canada through 1979 as a new car and was available much beyond that in other parts of the world. I think Volkswagen, the people's car, I think that's what Volkswagen is in English, translated from German. So this car, it's owned by the same family 39 years, so since 1986, by the patriarch of a family. And he bought it 6 years after the build was finished in 1980 from the builder and original owner of it in its current form. We do have the registration for the car. It is registered as a 1967 Volkswagen Beetle. We're not going to do a start in this video. As I say, in our detailed listing for lot 258, there is a startup video with the engine idling, and we got a sound of the exhaust. The engine is in the rear here, as you might expect for original VW powertrain. And we also have shots of it driving around the yard where I'm sitting right now, or I guess kneeling. We're in the backyard of a rural home. I think you can see the corner of the home in the picture. You'll see it in the background throughout the video, perhaps. But the car is not registered. The car is insured, and there is a bushing up front. I'll zoom in on it. That the current owner, well, it's the children of the original patriarch owner I mentioned. He's not able to get a bolt free to install that bushing. He does not claim to be a mechanic. He has the part. He's going to install it. So between it not being registered, us being on country roads where you don't do 40 kilometers an hour, and this bushing not being installed, we don't have driving video other than the car zooming around in the yard. We're not going to do a startup portion of this video because although the battery was purchased in 2023, it's a diehard. I might show you where it's housed, only for the sake of showing you where the battery goes. The sellers decided a bird in hand's worth two in the bush. He's just going to bring it back and replace it. So the car is going to go to its new owner with a brand new battery. So again, this one is lot 258 on CollectorCarCanada.ca. It's a replica of a 1927 Bugatti Type 35 with 1967 Volkswagen Beetle running gear. So I'll grab the camera and we'll do an external walk around, take a look at the interior, and get to the details. All right, so focusing on what for me is probably the most dramatic part of the presentation of this replica of a 1927 Bugatti Type 35 is this grille. So of course, being that this is on a Volkswagen with running gear by a Volkswagen Beetle, the engine is in the rear. So that's a faux grille because we have an air-cooled engine, as you'd expect. In case the picture makes the car look a little crooked, it's sitting on a grade here. So it's descending from the car's left to the car's right. So in our screen, right to left. So if I tilt the camera, maybe it looks a little flatter, but that's the reason it looks tilted. So beginning our little walk around, you can see all of the steering components and suspension up front are exposed and painted mostly body color. You can see this shock though that's exposed and not painted. Looks like a healthy strut. You can see over on that passenger's, on the inside of that passenger's front wheel, that it's equipped with drum brakes all around. So there's a good look at the drum, and it's painted body color as well. I don't think I have a fancy name for this color. It's blue with a darker, or I guess I'll call it turquoise, with a darker blue stripe on either side of it. I'll show you the other side as we get around the car. Two big headlights up front, and then a couple of driving lights, more centrally located. Indicators on either side. And here's a better look at that suspension, and a good look at the driver's side front drum brake. The car has not been driven a lot under current ownership. The owners of the car, as I say, I'm working with the son and daughter of that patriarch owner who's still living but no longer driving. They tell me that the odometer was installed in the car in 1980. And I take them at their word. The odometer reads under 2,000 miles. It might be kilometers, I'm not sure which, but either way, very, very low mileage. They told me that their father drove it a tiny little bit, but he mostly liked looking at it and tinkering with it a little bit. So you might be concerned that that it has suffered from neglect. Not the case. I haven't looked at these yet. We just did our photos and videos earlier today, and they tell me that they're going to provide those to me this evening. So if and when we get those, we'll pop them up on our detailed listing for lot 258, and you'll be able to review those. One thing that's you can't help but notice is that it's got a recent set of Bridgestone Ecopia ER422 tires. I remember they were 205s, and they are 15-inch rim. Maybe at another tire I'll be able to see that measurement. I'll give it to you exactly. It is a, quote, square setup. In other words, same size at all four corners. And when this set of tires was purchased, I noticed a 2020 date code. I suspect they were installed a couple of years after that. But the tires are 5 years old, super low mileage on them. But what I was getting to was that they replaced all 5 tires. So there's a tire mounted on the body on the passenger side. I'll show it to you when we get to it. But it's a matching Bridgestone Ecopia EP422 Plus. I do see the date code of 2020, 33rd week of 2020. Oh, and there's the size. We've got 205, 60, R15 with an H speed rating, you can see there. Same at all 4 corners, as well as the spare. I've already checked that out. So working our way around the car, I would say the paint is presentable, but I wouldn't consider it lustrous. This has not been stored indoors at all times since it was built in around 1980. So it's presentable. I don't see any rust, and that is because we have a fiberglass body, which would also account for the paint not being super shiny, being the way that paint mixes with the fiberglass. I do notice the antenna here, manual, it's operable here. And we did notice, we did take a look at the radio. We tested it, it powers up, but we're out in the country here. We didn't really try to get a station, but we did hear static. So we know it powers up. We're not sure about how well it can be tuned. One side mirror, and you can see that here on the driver's side. There's a bit of pitting on the chrome arm of the mirror, and there's the mirror itself. I'll stay away from the interior for now. Focus on the exterior right now. So the fenders, I do note a bit of rust on these metal fenders. Surface only, just a hint of it. A good 10-footer, you wouldn't see it from 10 feet away, but I've got the camera about 4 inches from the fender and we can see it rust. I do see a few items like this plastic piece, this little line here, brake line, and it has been painted and some of the paint has started to chip away with age. Here's a good look at the Bridgestone Ecopia, I think it was EP422, 205, 60, R15 with the H speed rating. Working our way back. Right now, as I said earlier, we're having trouble with the battery, and the battery is disconnected. When we had it connected, I noted that the tail light we're looking at right now stayed illuminated. And the sellers didn't deny that. They're not quite sure what's up with that. So something to take a look at for the new owner. And this license plate, I'm not sure if that's an authentic Ontario 1927 license plate or not, but certainly it is for decorative purposes only. There's a standard set of personalized plates on the car. And I note the font on the personalized plate is not the current font used in Ontario. It goes back some time. And that would indicate that the personalized plates have been in place for a while. Not going to show it in this video. We show it certainly in our detailed listing, but you can see the fasteners here. This is where the engine lives. So to get at the engine, this boat tail piece here needs to be removed. Standard screwdriver, I saw it happen. Looks like there are 6 fasteners that need to be loosened for that boat tail cover to come off to get at the engine. And when it was off, it looked like a typical Beetle engine. This one is 1600 cc's with its origins, as I say, in 1967. There's a 2-exit exhaust with the chrome tips. It really does sound good and healthy. I encourage you to take a look at the 2 videos. One of the car driving, the 2 videos of when the engine is running, that is. One of the car driving around this yard and one of it at startup. As you might have guessed, the startup video, we had booster cables attached to the car because we weren't lucky with the battery this morning. More evidence of how new these tires are. The labels haven't even been worn off, so they've been driven a tiny bit since they were installed. Again, date coded 2020. Estimate they were installed 2022, but not many miles if those labels are still there. Another good look at a tail light, this one on the passenger side, and this is just a reflector, not wired for electricity. Bridgestone Ecopia EP422, passenger side rear, with the knockoff looks in the center of the hub. You can see that it's a 4-bolt pattern on these white wheels, which also show hints of surface rust. Maybe a little bit here at the valve stem. No curb rash though. And then there's this same line that we showed you on the other side. There's a bit of paint on there as well. And here's the spare that was purchased at the same time as the 4 tires that are installed on the car. A neat sort of nod to 1927 with the leather strapping, keeping the spare tire fastened to the car. Working our way forward. Now this is... This venting is faux venting certainly, and it's a nod to the styling of the 27 Bugatti Type 35. Not functional on this car, as I say. For one, it's fiberglass, and the engine's in the rear, so no cooling needed up front here. And there's a good look at the Bridgestone Ecopia EP422 in the front passenger. Oh, it's EP422 Plus. What do you think of that? So 205, 60, R15 with the H speed rating. I wanted to get to this too. So here's a strap that matches the one for the spare tire. You can see sort of the female end of another strap here. The male end, or in other words, the part like this with the holes in it, is missing for this area. So this front strap is to hold the hood down. We have it pushed forward because I'm going to show you where the battery lives. And there should be another strap here. Realistically, to do that thriftily, it's only going to take an extra large size man's belt, leather belt, through that, sewn through that loop like you see here. And then it just gets looped into that, what I'll call the female end of the belt on that side. So this cover here, you can see the fasteners here. It might look like it opens on both sides, but it only opens on the one side. Again, no engine up here, but I'll open this side for you. And you can see where we keep the battery. And I suppose we could make a case for there being a little bit of storage space in here as well. There's a jack. You can see the battery's disconnected right now. And there's a diehard. As I say, the owners say they purchased that in 2023. However, it has sat, and they're going to replace it for the new owner, just to make things easier for the new owner and the sale process. You can see some fuses in here, and as well as some electrical back on the firewall. So I'll close that up. Tidy package here. And without this strap over the cover and the strap that's back here, this just opens freely. So at a minimum, I suppose you want to have this strap into place, covering that engine cover, so that I don't think there's much chance of it opening up while driving. However, safety first, it's probably good to have those straps in place. Moving to the interior, which will be a quick portion of the video because it is small. 2-seat bench. I suppose you could squeeze 3 adults or 3 people into it. That middle passenger would probably not be legal because there's no seat belt for him or her. And they'd also have to straddle that Hurst shifter. Would you believe the car's got a Hurst shifter? You can see the Indy and H for Hurst emblems on the metal shaft of it. Wooden knob, wooden steering wheel as well. When the car was built, it looks like it used some, I'd say period seat belts, but I said the car was built in 1980. I would peg these seat belts more from the 70s, maybe even the late 60s. But GM standard issue, and they're functional. And we've got a wooden 3-spoke steering wheel, and you can see this steering column is not covered. It's exposed. You can see it turning as I turn the steering wheel. New instrumentation when the car was built in 1980, so not new today, but certainly newer than 1967, like the running gear by Volkswagen. There's a tach that maxes out at 6,000 RPM, an oil pressure gauge on the right, and an oil temp gauge on the left. Over here, we've got a speedo maxing out at 120 miles an hour. I don't think you want to go quite that speed in this machine. Fuel gauge on the far right, labeled petrol, so that's kind of a nod to England, I would say, certainly Europe. And then an amp meter to the left of the speedometer. I'm going to move right in on that odometer, and I read it as 1639. So that odometer is labeled in miles. So under 1,700 miles, the owners believe, since it was built in 1980. So yeah, and there's that AM radio I mentioned. As I say, it powers up. Looks like it's missing a knob, but we didn't test it for a station. There's even a lighter there. We've not tested that for whether it works or not. And then a 4-speed manual, as you'd expect with the 67 VW running gear, and a handbrake lever just in front of that with a vinyl boot. It looks like, for some reason, they've got a block of wood on that clutch pedal. I'll ask about that, and we'll get in any answer I get on that into the detailed listing, again, for lot 258, the 1927 Bugatti Type 35 replica with 1967 Volkswagen running gear powertrain. Manual transmission, 4-speed, like you'd expect in a VW. This upholstery is a gray leather. It's getting warm because we're blessed with some beautiful weather here in the country. The car is just outside of Uxbridge. I'm not sure if we're going to have Uxbridge on the listing or the seller's residence in Newmarket, or not Newmarket, I'm sorry, Georgetown. We're close to Newmarket where we are now. But the car rests in Uxbridge, and that's likely where it's going to be picked up by its new owner, unless shipping arrangements are made. But the upholstery, the vinyl upholstery, quite presentable. I don't see any flaws. Forget about rips. I don't even see any discoloration. But a straight gray on that. I do notice some snaps here. I haven't even discovered these yet. But, oh, there's just some foam in there. The upholstery reminds me of what I might find in a boat. But it's perfectly suitable for this car, given that no doors, no roof. You want to be sure you've got something that's watertight, waterproof. I'm having trouble getting that snap back. Oh, there, I got it. So it's back on. So one more little walk around the car, and we'll move to some closing thoughts. So that boat tail, I mentioned earlier that the grille might be the pièce de résistance in terms of styling on the car, but maybe it's that boat tail that made the 27 Bugatti Type 35 famous. Both quite impressive features on the exterior, and That blue racing stripe also wakes it up. Again, all the venting on the side of the car you see toward the front is faux, given that the engine is in the rear. So there's a good look from the front. And we'll close this segment with my favorite driver's 1/4 view. So there's a good look at the replica 1927 Bugatti Type 35. Again, it's running a VW engine and transmission out of a 1967 Beetle. So 1600cc engine with a 4-speed manual. It's got the exposed suspension as you see here. And it's going to be lot 258 on collectorcarcanada.ca. Turquoise in color over a gray vinyl interior, which presents quite nicely. Among many other recent upgrades, it's got the new Bridgestone tires you can see here. But please do take a look at our detailed listing, again, lot 258, for all of the mechanical work that's been done in the past couple years. Not so much to ready it for sale, but to keep it roadworthy. But as I say, the patriarch of the family who bought the car in 1986 is no longer driving. It's actually in the name of his daughter, who's here today, and she and her brother have decided to move it along to another enthusiast, and that's where we came in. So, a replica 1927 Bugatti Type 35 with a 1967 VW Beetle 1600cc engine and 4-speed manual transmission. Sounds every bit as air-cooled VW Beetle engine as you'd expect. Take a look at our demo videos on the detailed listing for lot 258, and you'll hear it both idling and under load. And I think that's going to about do it for our car review video for this car. Thank you for watching, and we're going to move on to the next car.